When I was 20 years old, it was time for me to join the Army. We were a patriotic family, and my father had retired as an officer. I was happy to follow in his footsteps. When I became a soldier, I wanted to stay in the military. Everything started off nice and pleasant. I will tell you about the places without giving names. Time flew by like water in boot camp. After boot camp, I went to the master unit. My first week was very comfortable and beautiful. The next week, I was on guard duty in a guard shack. It was in a deserted, mountainous, and slightly forested area of the military. Normally, I was not afraid of these situations. Paranormal events like the ones I am about to describe never scared me until that age. Even horror movies never affected me. They seemed empty to me. I went to the watchtower. For the first 20 minutes, everything was fine. Then I realized that there was movement towards the opposite hill. I was going to enter the guard tower in a hurry, take a position, and inform the unit. Just as I was about to enter the guard tower, I looked again to make sure. But the movement was not at a normal human speed. It was as if something was floating. I felt that I was eye to eye with that thing at that distance, and I shuddered. I couldn't shout, and I couldn't take my eyes off its eyes. I was eye to eye with something whose face I couldn't even see. I could really feel it. It was like I was paralyzed. I was standing, but I couldn't move in any way. I couldn't even make a sound. I couldn't take my eyes off his eyes. It was as if he was floating and approaching me every second. I don't know whether it was fear or excitement at that moment, but as I said, I couldn't do anything. I was almost frozen. He was about 50 meters away from me as he glided. Suddenly, I was startled by someone calling out to me, "Mustafa, what are you doing? Have your ship sunk?" My friend had come for the changing of the guard. We did the changing of the guard. When I opened my eyes, I was on the hill I had seen on the watchtower. On the watchtower was this being I couldn't recognize. This time, he was making eye contact with me, and I was floating closer to him. Just before I saw his face, I was startled by the voice of, "Ward, get up!" After roll call, I wanted to call my mother and tell her what had happened. I was going to line up for the phone. As I was about to go in, one of my friends called me. He said it was important. I forgot about the line and the phone and went to my friend. That friend and I were like brothers. His family had come to see him, and he wanted to introduce me to them. As we chatted and chatted, I had forgotten everything that had happened. Evening came. That friend of mine told me that he had a shift at the same time as the night before. He asked if I could stand guard in his place. I accepted. I took over his watch. I thought to myself, my friend has seen his family. At least he can sleep well tonight. Just as I was thinking this, I saw the duty station on the list. It was the same place where I was on duty last night. At that moment, everything I had experienced last night came back to me. I was whining like a 7-year-old child. I didn't want to do that shift. There was a strange fear inside me that I can't describe. Afterwards, I got angry with myself, and I got myself worked up. Is this your friendship, your brotherhood? Get a hold of yourself. I tried to motivate myself. When the watch time came, I arrived at the watchtower, said the Besmele, and started to stand guard. I was trying not to look at that hill in particular. I was constantly trying to think of different things, but I couldn't get it out of my mind. You know, when you involuntarily catch your eye or involuntarily look at something, that's what happened to me at that moment. I looked at that hill again, but there was nothing there. I thought to myself, I haven't seen my family for a long time. That's why I took over this watch. Then I heard a laughing sound at the foot of the military wall. But I can't say it belonged to any gender. As soon as I heard it, I already turned my eyes to the bottom of the wall. That darkness was at the bottom of the wall. At that moment, I was speechless. It was as if we were starting all over again. This time I could see his face. My eyes were locked on his eyes again. I couldn't move, and I was very scared. Then the thing said something to me in a foreign language, looked me in the eye, and started laughing. It rose from the ground. Our eyes aligned, and I suddenly understood what it was saying in a foreign language. It was laughing at me mockingly. He was mocking me for being a human being. He was laughing and mocking me. He said things like, "We are superior to you, but your Lord does not accept that." Then I closed my eyes. When I opened them, I realized that I had fallen asleep in the guard post. I said to myself, half fearful, half angry, "For God's sake, Mustafa, look at what you have become." No, I mean, let's say such a thing is real. Would he come to your dream and talk to you like this? What nonsense. I was trying to calm my fear. As I said before, I was not an easily frightened person. Then I said out loud, "And he's glorifying himself, you son of a bitch." I cursed and insulted the being I saw. Then, just as I was about to raise my head, I heard his voice again. "I am not the daughter of Eve or the son of Adam. I am superior to Adam and Eve. If you say such words to me again, I will burn your whole family to ashes. I will burn, I will kill you." I heard voices like that. With great fear, I shouted with all my might. The only word that came out of my mouth was, "Allah." Hearing my voice from inside the military, my other friends on guard duty ran to me. Some of them asked what happened. Since the commander had been informed, people of rank came to me in a hurry. In that moment of fear and excitement, I tried to explain what had happened as much as I could. There was a commander who was normally my commander, but we had a relationship like brothers. This person, the person I call my brother, was looking at me with worried and frightened eyes. He turned to the soldiers and said, "Take your friend to the infirmary. Give him a tranquilizer. Let me know when he comes to." All I remember is going to the infirmary and lying on the bed in the infirmary. They gave me something like a tranquilizer in the infirmary. Then I woke up in the morning after roll call. My commander gave me permission to go to my family and relax for a while. I did not accept that leave and politely refused his offer. He insisted. Afterwards, when I proved that I was fine, he said, "That's fine. Don't be afraid of such things. If you want a leave of absence or something, come to me and we'll sort it out." As I said again, don't be afraid of such things. We are in a mountainous area. These things happen all the time. And he calmed me down. And he canceled my shifts for about 2 days in a row. He replaced me with another volunteer. I accepted this situation reluctantly. I talked to my mom and dad. In the last month of my military service, I had another watch at that watchtower. My commander, whom I called my brother, had moved my shifts that were there before. I said to myself, I am already close to the end. I must overcome this fear. I'm not a child, I'm a soldier. I was motivating myself again. I usually did my shifts there in the morning. In the last week of my military service, if my night shifts fell there, my volunteer friends would do them. It was my last night in the Army. In order to overcome this fear, I voluntarily took over the watch in that tower instead of my friend. I was praying inside and trying to overcome my fear. Suddenly, it started to get extremely windy and cold outside. Then I went inside the tower and a heaviness fell on my eyes. Look, not sleep, but heaviness. I was conscious, but I couldn't open my eyes. Suddenly, I opened my eyes with all my strength. I was on the wall under the tower, but I was outside the military. There was something swirling and circling around me. Even if I try to describe it to you, I can't. It's an indescribable presence. Something like smoke or blackness was circling around me rapidly. A voice from behind me, the voice of that being, was saying, "Son of Adam, look here." I quickly turned and looked. He took my gun in his hand, which I had in my possession, and shouted, "Look, watch, son of Adam." He was pointing the gun to the left and shouting at me. My mother and father were on the left side. He fired 2 shots. God, don't let me see that moment again. He shot my mom and dad. They were dying on the ground. I was screaming with all my might and running towards them saying, "No." I reached them. I turned my mother's head towards me. My mother had a dirty and sly grin on her face. A red snake was coming out of her mouth. Something black was coming out of her eyes. I let go of my mother's head, scared. I turned around and looked at my father. He was standing up and hitting himself hard and fast on his own head with a rock in his hand, cracking his skull. Red snakes were coming out of my father's skull, out of his brain. I couldn't stand it, so I turned to the being and said, "Kill me! Kill me, you filthy devil!" He swiftly floated over, brought the gun to me, and handed it to me. I took it and shot myself in the head in the same second. I woke up in an instant. "What a dream," I said to myself. I grabbed my gun with my hand and stood up. At my feet, I saw a red snake coming out of the hole under the door of the tower. I opened the door of the tower in fear. I don't know where it was going, but it was going slowly and calmly. At that moment, I remembered what my grandmother told me when I was little. She said, "Don't kill snakes and scorpions without saying the Besmillah. Do not harm a snake, scorpion, or cat that does not attack you. Sometimes jinns look like that to people," she had said. When I remembered this, I looked at the snake and said, "I have never harmed you. Now I may kill you, but I will not harm you. God willing, leave me alone." The snake turned around, looked me in the eye, and quickly moved away and disappeared into the darkness. I didn't believe anyone who said he was a Hajjah, so I didn't get involved with Hajjah, Haji, etc. I said, "God exists, no worries." I took refuge in my Lord. Time passed. I never experienced such an incident again. May God give everyone who is in the military a good discharge. Take care of yourselves.